Welcome back to the DNA Pest Control Podcast. This is Daniel, and I just went to the first day of Pest World. So far, so good. I'm actually a little disappointed on this year's Pest World. It does not seem as well as good or as put together as it normally is. And I'll explain why. And I don't want to bash because it's not all negative, all right? I got some cool stuff I want to talk about too, because I went and stopped by a few booths, met a few people, checked out some new products, and some pretty cool stuff. So one thing with Pest World is normally what they do is they have classes and everything set out for you, right? And so you can actually choose your classes. The previous years, what they've done is they give you a little booklet, and the booklet will have all your classes laid out for you. And then you get to pick and choose which ones you want to go to. But they'll also categorize them in, wood-destroying organisms, so termites, beetles, things like that. And then your regular pest control technician, sales, office. Excuse me. So they actually break it down for you. This year they didn't, and I don't like that much, and I'm not seeing as many classes either. So it's kind of, I don't know if a lot of people backed out because of the whole pandemic, and now they're finally open for the first year. But the book itself actually doesn't have those categorized, so you kind of just are swinging at them, and they don't have a good description under each one. They say online, but the app is actually very poorly put together. In comparison to previous years. Previous years, they had some really good stuff, really good content. And this year so far, they kind of slipped. It looks like they were pushing a big advertising on there. The booklet is like 5 times the size as it used to be because there's just a bunch of ads in it. And so it's like a magazine. So a little disappointed on there. But so far, registration super easy. Didn't even talk to anybody. No one came up and helped me. I just went on the little computer, printed out my thing, and we're good to go. But I finally got to go through the expo. So the expo, a big thing. So if you are a smaller company or even a larger company and you're still using paper, there is a ton of companies out there. It's crazy how many companies are. I mean, almost the entire exhibit hall was just freaking systems and different things and business to business. And I was hoping for actually a lot more equipment and products. But I was actually kind of shocked. There wasn't as many products as I thought I was going to see there. So far, you guys haven't been missing too much. I'll get you up on the products. So first stop I went to was actually Birchmeier. If you don't know who they are, Birchmeier, if I'm right, I should be right, is they are a Swiss-made company. So they deal with a bunch of different equipment. It's not just pest control, but their main thing is a backpack sprayer. So they came out with a few cool things that I like. So one is on the backpack sprayer. If you use the Birchmeier backpack sprayer, which I mean, every company I've ever talked to has or does use them. They have the new backpack sprayers out, right? The electric. I personally have one. I like it. There's a few things that I don't like about the Birchmeier backpack sprayers. They went from their traditional brass handle to more of a plastic. I shouldn't say more of. It is a plastic handle. That's exactly what it is. It's a plastic handle. I think they went to go and save a ton of money, which I'm sure they did. And so all their stuff went to plastic. Even their backpack sprayers are all plastic. But one thing that sucks is the handle on the electric backpack sprayer actually sticks. And so I was talking to the rep there, and he kind of gave a good solution. So if anyone has the electric backpack sprayer or is thinking of getting one, you will have an issue where when you let go of the handle, that it actually doesn't go all the way back and turns it off. It will keep spraying, and then you have to physically open the handle all the way so it actually disconnects and stops the sprayer, or it'll just be a constant spray. So easy solution. He just said you take apart the handle, you'll put some silicone up into the air, where it sticks, and then that should solve your problem. You'll probably have to keep doing that because it's not going to last forever. It's not a permanent fix, but that'll at least help for the meantime. One of the other things is, so if this is for managers, owners, on the equipment side, they actually have a new valve out. I shouldn't say valve. It's a little adapter that you can put on the spray handle and choose the PSI. So you can choose what the pressure is, which in some states like California, some of the products are restricted on how much PSI can be behind it. So now they've come out with things to actually control that and better that. So that's kind of cool. I really like that. And he said he's going to be giving me a new one, or he's going to be giving me one. So I got to swing back by his booth, and I'll get one from him, and then I'll actually get it tested out. The other thing is they came out with a brand new handle for the Birchmeier. Okay, so your traditional handle, you just grab it, spray. Your nozzle is what you move and you change, right? Okay, so now they've actually come out with a new one where depending on how you grab the handle is what it will change the tip to. So if you just grab and open up the handle just a little bit, you get a fan spray. And then as you press the handle all the way down, you get a jet stream. So now you have a little bit more control over what you're spraying and how your spray is. There's some positives and some negatives to that I've already thought of. Problem is once you start to grab that handle, you mist, right? So you're going to be misting in the beginning, which if there's any wind, boom, California, illegal. No, it's not going to work. Where when you have the nozzle, you can actually just go jet stream, and then you never have to worry about anything because it's already on jet stream. So there's some cool, there's some bad, but that's just a really sensitive thing. And then they have some other little miniature spray bottles that you can pump up. So if you're just doing a spot treatment or anything like that, you just have a little mini container. But B&G also has the same. It's actually a lot smaller, but it's like a little mini B&G. They actually have a half-gallon one or a quarter. And then they have one even smaller for it's like super spot treatments. I have one because I had to actually treat a ceiling, and I had to get up on a ladder and treat in between pieces of wood up in the ceiling for carpenter ants. And so I dusted first, didn't work, and then I had to go back and do Termidor and Alpine in those areas, which actually worked really well. So you have to, but that was the only way I could do it. So that was kind of cool. And so he gave me a little brochure that goes over everything that Birchmeier has when it comes to our industry and then all sorts of other industries too. So it's really cool. And I really like that about that. Now the next one, and there's a big push. So right now, which is kind of weird, is there's a big push for mosquitoes. So in California, I guess there's now a mosquito that has a certain disease. And so now this is going to be a bigger push, especially in Southern California for it. I don't think it actually hit Sacramento yet. So we'll keep an eye on that and see where it goes. But Catchmaster, if you don't know who they are, you probably use their glue boards or possibly the Tin Cats. Well, Catchmaster now has actually come out with something new, which is cool. So they came out with a mosquito trap. They had some older ones. I actually talked to one of the reps there. He was telling me that it was CDC. They are the ones who actually came out with the design, and then Catchmaster went and bought the rights to sell the product that they made. So they actually didn't make this design, which is kind of cool. An interesting story behind it. They actually just bought the rights to sell it. So now they own the rights, and now they're selling the product. But they have these mosquito traps. You have one that's a 5-gallon bucket, and the next one, which is like a planter. It looks like a planter box. And then there's a new one that they haven't come out with yet. It's in prototype, but it's actually hanging. So you can go hang it around people's properties. The planter one is probably the best. And then if you're going more industrial out in a field, possibly in people's backyards, hidden behind bushes, you can do the 5-gallon bucket. So what's really nice is you buy the bucket, or you buy this, piece of equipment, and then you do everything in it. So you just pop the top off, and you'll put the water in the leaves, because you have to have some matter in the water, right? Which will create a smell. And that's what attracts the mosquitoes. Now, the guy made it very clear, the point of these traps is actually not to catch anything that's flying around that are feeding right now. So it's more of a preventative measure on a property. So you don't actually use these Catchmaster traps for anything current. The other thing is it doesn't actually trap them inside the bucket. I thought it did. So it was interesting. It does not trap them inside the bucket. So you use a little bit of water, you throw in some leaves or some debris, whatever it's on the ground, and then you'll go place it in a shaded, damp area behind bushes or in bushes. You can kind of away from the home. Because mosquitoes, what they'll do is they'll actually hide during the day. So they're going to go on the underside of leaves. They're going to go do that. So they're going to go look. And so what the whole point is the females, when they're laying their eggs, they actually go to these areas to lay their eggs. And I guess this new mosquito that's in California she lays the eggs in multiple areas, not just in one area like normal mosquitoes. So anyway, so how it works is inside, there's a little tunnel at the top, right? A little funnel. And all around it is actually a glue board. I didn't know that. I thought they actually went in and got stuck inside the bucket. They don't get stuck inside the bucket. You don't have to empty the bucket. You just got to refill it with water and debris. And then you'll change out the glue board each time you go service the house. So you'll go place the trap, and then you'll go and place the glue board inside this tunnel, which they'll fly into, and then natural instinct is to land on the side, because they'll initially try to go all the way down, but they'll hit, it's a little netted area, and they'll hit that, which they can't go down. So then what they'll do is they'll naturally fly to the side, and that's when they get stuck to the glue board. So really interesting. Let me see what they're called. Oh, they're called OV Planter Mosquito Trap. OV Planter is the planter box, and then the OV Catch is the other one. And so really interesting. So then they get stuck to the side of the wall, which then they're no longer able to lay any eggs. And he was saying that one female, I think it's like 5,000 eggs. Or no, sorry. Okay, so a female mosquito can lay up to 150 eggs in a single batch. Okay, so you can prevent up to 1,000 future mosquitoes with this trap. And so once again, it's not a current, they have an issue right now. They're biting them constantly, and then you go put these traps up. This is a preventative. If you have a sensitive, a high sensitive area where these people want to prevent mosquitoes, this is a good time. This would be where you place them. You don't place these, and letting the customer know, hey, all your mosquitoes are going to magically disappear. That's not how this works. Okay. So it's just for females, and it's just to catch the females. So it's not going to actually even catch the males. And that's what he was saying. This is not meant for that. There was another booth. I actually didn't get any of the information. There's a lot of people around it, but they had it was just add water, and then it had another little trap for mosquitoes. And so I don't know how it works. I'm going to go back there tomorrow and check it out. But that was kind of cool to kind of see that and see how that worked. So other than that, which is kind of sad, but other than that, there wasn't a whole lot of new technology that I was expecting to see. I was expecting to see quite a bit. Just a bigger push on setting up traps that have sensors on them for rodents, so when a rodent goes into a bait station, that there's, a rodent there, or if a trap goes off. Other than that, everything's pretty much about the same. I didn't see anything new. the Precision, which is pretty cool, which I can't get. So if you guys are out of state, please get it and try it. It's called Precision Delivery System. It's by Control Solutions. It's a duster, so it's just an electric duster. It's a little pistol-looking thing. Super awesome, super cool. They came out with this 2 years ago, or they had the prototype or whatever, but they were kind of pushing it then. And a really good concept, especially if you're going into cockroach treatments, bedbug treatments, and now they have it for termites and things like that. But a really cool idea on how it works, and they just got to get it passed in California, and then we can use it because there's a ton of different little things, because there's little cartridges that you connect to the bottom of it, and then it'll push air through it, which then will dust. So then you're not using a bulb duster or anything like that, so you're not worried about puffing too much dust into an area because you don't want to, right? So that was pretty cool, but that's already been out for a little bit. Now, for tomorrow, I just want to give you a quick little update on some of the classes. So this is kind of some of the things that if you didn't make it this year, that's fine, but I'll just go over some of the classes so hey, maybe this is something I want to look at for next year, and so on. Let's see here. Let's go for the first one. Let's see. So just so everyone knows, the first day, typically there's nothing other than like little get-togethers, president meetings, things like that. The second day is kind of the same. They'll still do the little meetings, but then you have the exhibit hall that opens up and your registration, right? Then Wednesday, the third day, is when you have all the classes. So they'll have the exhibit hall. That opens up at 10. So I'll get there a little later, and then they'll have lunch, and then you go and do all your classes up until the evening. So tomorrow, they have classes. Let's see, where is it? Okay, so they have classes starting at 1:30 to 2:45. And on this one, they have where pest service and food protection meet, rodenticides, non-target exposure pathways, ticks, and emerging public health crisis, 7 secrets to better media buys, what your media rep isn't telling you, consumer buying habits and trends, new research from PPMA, which is Professional Pest Management Alliance. And then they usually have a little blocked off thing, and it's thought leader. So leading the pack, how a culture of learning puts you ahead. Does your website pass the grunt test? I don't know what that means, but I'm not going to go to that one either, so I don't know. And then they have a class from, they have classes from, where is it? 3 to 4:15, which was kind of weird because they only had 2 classes, which is almost everything you didn't know about wood destroying insects, and what does a sensitive account really mean in pest control today. And then for the later afternoon, there are more classes. Good. Okay, so diversifying your company service capabilities, a roadmap for urban rodent invasions, why rats and mice have become an unstoppable force. Well, because we don't freaking use bait anymore. 2 amazingly effective strategies to instantly improve your marketing result. And then they have another thought leader, which is how leaders make workplace accountability cool, and how to empower your team to self-manage. And then for the evening, they go through a bunch of more classes. I'm not going to read through all of them, but that's kind of the idea of Pest World, right? Is you get immersed, you get to get around all the new technology, all the new products, if there are any, and get to really see what's out there. That's where a lot of these companies who are on paper, if they don't ever actually get out and see and go to these expos in Pest World, they really get behind on a lot of the services. They know the basic service. Okay, I can do a bed bug treatment, and this is how I do it, right? Because that's how I got taught. Or I can do a cockroach treatment, and this is how I do it because this is how I was taught 20 years ago. And then you have your regular pest control. Okay, boom, there's my company. That's all we do. Where this can really open up a lot of avenues and really bring in a lot of revenue to smaller companies. Just like what I'm looking at personally for my companies is I look at, possibly adding in a mosquito treatment service, right? So now I'm going to be placing these traps around a property that we just check on a monthly basis or bi-monthly basis, replace a glue board, and that's it. And you can charge X amount of dollars more, than you were before. Because a big way to grow a business or to get to the next level is you start adding on little services to get better. A lot of people, a lot of businesses, what they do, pest control, which I see, which is wrong, is they say, okay, look, this is what we do. We come out, we spray your home, we take down webs. That's it. Right? And then sometimes you get some of the hybrid guys who'll do a little bit of both, or they'll dabble in other things. But you really get to see the exponential growth is when you start opening up your business to a ton of different avenues. Obviously, if you're too small, you don't want to do that. Not yet. I didn't do that when we first started. We did just pest control. And then we slowly started getting into rodents. And then we did cockroach and bedbug, but we started getting into other things. And now we're starting to expand and open up into treatments for ground squirrels and things like that. Because now you're starting to add in a whole nother stream of revenue that never existed before. And, that's kind of a big, big thing that companies don't see, smaller companies don't see. And if you're just a tech, this is stuff that you can mention to your manager, or this is stuff that you can learn, and then you can bring it to them and say, hey, I know how to do this. I want more money, right? I want to make more because I'm going to make you more because I know these things. So really step outside of the box. But this is the good thing about these, bringing these classes in, really expanding your knowledge. I was actually talking to one of my guys who didn't come this year. Unfortunately, I was really hoping he would, but he decided not to, which is fine. No pressure to come. But one thing I was talking to him about is, and he said, oh, well, you really think it's a good thing? And I said, yes, absolutely. I think it's great to come to, events like this because you get to step out of your state, you get to step out of your comfort zone, and you get to expand your knowledge. What are other companies doing? And especially when you start going to these classes, you get people who raise their hand, they start asking questions, they start talking, and they tell everybody what they're doing and what's, is it working? Is it not working? And so you get to really hear, oh, wow, that guy actually is doing that, or he tried that and I wanted to try it. How did it work? And then you can go up and talk to him later and say, hey, I heard you said, you've been doing these things. How is it? How did it work? What worked for you? What didn't work? And you can really jump over a lot of these big learning curves from other people telling you what to do. But also you get to really understand different treatment methods. We created 2 different treatment methods to treat bed bugs and to treat cockroaches, German cockroaches, because of, some of these classes, because you get some people who've done studies, you get PhDs that are actually experimenting, and they tell you how they've done a few things. And what we've done is we've kind of molded it and manipulated it a little bit to a real life situation, not just in a laboratory study, because sometimes that doesn't, I get what they're trying to do. I get their whole point of, trial and error type thing. But when you're not actually doing it in real life, it may not work. So what we've done is we've kind of pulled some of that information and created new services, created new things. Even, some of the products that we've, that maybe have been out for a long time. Like I just found a product that possibly has been out for who knows how long, but now I finally found it. So it's cool, and I'll probably be buying it now. But that's stuff that, you can see, and you get to actually get out there and understand, okay, look, this is where the industry's going, right? This is kind of the knowledge. This is the big push. And so what I'm seeing so far from the expo, the exhibit, is their big push right now is technology. So if you are not up to date with your technology, if you are not getting on and jumping on that with a system, a software system, or whatever, you're going to be left behind fairly quickly. And so get ready for that, because you will be swallowed up by the big guys, or even little guys who decide to jump on this. So get ready to see that and see the difference there, because you will have that come up. And so, but that is a big, big push this year. Big push is technology. You started a company, you're working off an Excel spreadsheet or a Google sheet or whatever, you better trash that, because that is not going to last for very long. And if you don't get on the new technology, a system that's running your company for you, you're not going to make it very far. Or you'll always stay a one-man show, right? You're going to be a one-person show. That's it. So just get ready. Get ready to see those changes. Even with some of these classes now, I mean, they're talking about 3D printing, 3D printing in this industry, which I have no idea what that's about. Some of the classes, but a big one on marketing, using social media, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all these things that if you're not doing it now, you're not going to be around much longer. But see, this is what these classes provide, is they get you to see outside your little box. They get you to see outside your little tunnel vision of the industry that you're in or the town that you're in. And you really don't get to see that anywhere else, other than getting around people who are all talking about change, becoming better, getting better, implementing new things. Now, there is one thing that you don't want to, you get, that I see with a lot of people, is you get too into their little world in these things, so they get into the technology or the systems, and then they end up buying 30 different systems. And now they're so in a deep hole of systems that they can't get out. So you do have to be careful too with these, because these booths are full of salesmen, right? They're trying to sell you on every little thing. There was a kid who he has a good one. It's called, I'll give him a little shout out. Maybe I'll have him on the podcast. He's the owner, but it's called Batten. And what it is he, essentially what they do is they allow pest control companies to refer their customers when they move. So instead of losing money, you can essentially get money for referring a customer to another company in a different state. So California, a lot of people are moving out of California. We had a customer we lost who moved to Las Vegas, right? Super nice guy, awesome guy. If we had a branch here, he'd go right back to us, even, so I got to kind of see him off. He was with us for years. And I guess, that's a really cool system that you could get into, is instead of losing money every time a customer moves, I can now refer that customer to the next guy, to the next company. And they've all been vetted, he says, which I don't know. I mean, it seems pretty new, but it looks like they've all, they've done the research on the people. They make sure that they're good people, and you're, handing off your customer to the next best company that you just don't serve in that area, which is really cool, because that allows you to focus in your area, and you can still get money. You can essentially sell that information and get money for it, which is really cool. It's awesome that, someone thought of that. It's a really unique idea. And it really actually helps out a lot of smaller companies, because there's still a way for them to make money even if their customers do leave. So that is day one of Pest World, day one of the exhibit hall. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you pulled something away from that. Tomorrow will be a really cool one. I'm going to hit up a ton of classes, and I'm actually going to dive in deep into the knowledge and hopefully bring something back to you tomorrow evening that you can, listen to and really learn and pull something from. And I'll also stop by some of the booths that I didn't get to stop by because there's too many people, and talk a little bit further in depth, with them about their product and about what they do and how they do it, to bring even more products, bring more products to you that you can possibly use, in your industry, in your area, if they sell it in that area. My big thing in Pest World, everywhere I go, I always have to ask everybody, if it's a chemical, do you sell it in California? because a lot of them say, oh, nope. Okay. Well, on to the next one. So that's just a big one I have to ask. But a lot of you guys are in other states. You don't have to worry about that. So that's kind of cool. But thank you for following and listening in to the DNA Pest Control Podcast. Remember, you can send a DM on Instagram at DNA Pest Podcast. I will respond. If you want me to look for something, please let me know. I'm out there anyway. I got plenty of time out here to run through everything and look at certain products and give you my personal opinion on those products. But let me know. If you want to email, you can do that too at dnapestpodcast@gmail.com. Just let me know what you want to look at, or what you want me to look at, I should say, and I can send you pictures and I can talk to you about it. And I can even send you these sales reps information and they can talk to you about it. So just let me know. I'm here to help. I'm here to expand your knowledge. And once again, thanks for listening to the DNA Pest Control Podcast.